Hello! It's been a very long time, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like it hasn't been. Okay, I have tried over and over and over again to make a video for this channel, but it just never felt authentic to me, and it never felt like I had something to say either. As you can see, I have a new background. I moved out! Yay! I moved out of my childhood home, and here I am living it up. I live with my best friend now. I think life has on the surface gotten better, but I have been going through a lot. Can I say that? I have been going through a lot. And I noticed that through all this change that has been going on in my life with moving, with other things, I haven't really stopped and smelled the flowers until recently. Through sitting with myself amongst all that change, I realized that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's such a common phrase. And I don't think I had really internalized it for such a long time. Because when you're a kid, you hear all these adages and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But it's only now that I'm 24 and I'm experiencing all this change and going through all of these internal shifts that I'm realizing, oh, it was me all along. The person I had to be was me all along. Hashtag me all along. What the hell? Yeah. And it wasn't an easy realization at all. And not a realization that I ever thought I would have, because of all of that internalized shame and things of that nature, and just self-neglect that I've been through my entire life. And I think I wanted to come back to my podcast when I feel like I was able to articulate this in a better way. But not only just that, because I wanted to share in case there was someone else out there who also felt like their identity was their fatal flaw. Now, the first chapter of this episode will be about where I came from and why I wanted to make this video in the first place. So the intro was a little bit of me explaining that, but now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So as a child, we're gonna get real deep. As a kid, I never really felt like I was ever enough. I grew up, I didn't have very many friends. I only really started making friends when I was 15. The person I live with right now, my best friend, was I would say my first best friend. I had friends growing up, but I feel like my friendships with them only strengthened as I got older. But I feel like my very first genuine first meet, we were instantly friends, was the friend I currently live with, Maureen. And I actually made a video with her. I actually made 2 videos with them on my channel, and you should go watch them. I'm telling you right now, Maureen is genuinely one of the probably the funniest person I know. But thinking about it, when you haven't really felt like you had someone to rely on for the first 15 years of your life, I'm only realizing at 24, oh, this is not a normal thing. Or not that it's not normal, but when that is the case for you, it can be difficult for regulation to happen, right? My household was a little bit messy. It just never really felt like I had something stable going on in my life. And that was really difficult for me. And as a result of all this constant instability, I felt the need to just change myself constantly for the needs of others, whether that be at home, whether that be at school, whether that be on the playground, whatever. There was just this constant need internally, because there was just so much chaos, to just change myself for the needs of others, for the changing environment. I never felt like who I was at my core was worth a damn, was enough, was valid. My interests were too weird. I was too this, I was too that. I was always not enough for any given situation. And because of that, I grew up, believing and internalizing all of it's not even just oh, it's delusional. No, there's also been many instances where people have in so many words told me that I was too this or too that, and I was just never going to measure up, and I was just too much all the time. And so it's hard not to internalize that, right? Like, so I straight up internalized that, and brought that into my adulthood, right? I went away to college. You know, I have a few videos on here about me talking through my college experience and how wonderful that was and how great it was. But it was still a learning curve because I was trying to connect with people. I was trying to date. I was trying to feel successful. I was trying to look for jobs in a space that was just full of rocky foundation. And as a result of all of that, not feeling like I was enough and just constantly ridiculing myself because of the words I was genuinely hearing from others, I genuinely believed that at some point, you know, being me was just the worst possible thing about me. You know, everyone else, it just seemed like everyone else was able to have interests. Everyone else was able to share their most deep and dark and, you know, scary secrets and still be publicly embraced by like everyone. But then for me, it just felt like if I were to do that, if I were to share those things, if I were want to start dating, if I were to do all of those things, that I would literally like be the worst person in the world. Like genuinely, I used to think that my problems were way too unique as well. And that's another thing too, like that they say about depression, right? Like the thing that makes depression stick for a lot of people, it's not everyone, is that they feel unique in their suffering. And that's how it felt for me. It didn't feel like anyone else was feeling the same way. Getting older and meeting people who actually have like online friends and like meet people online, I always just used to get like so jealous. And I was like, wow, like to me, I just internalized, I was just like not good at making friends and people just hated me. That's why I thought, I was like, oh, I'm just really bad at making friends. I'm really annoying, you know, because these are things that people told me. Oh, I'm just really annoying. I'm really bossy. I'm this, I'm that. Like, so if people in real life don't like me, what makes me think that like people in the internet are going to like me? They're just probably going to like me less. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, when you're a kid, these are the things that go through your head. Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, these are the things that went through my head. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah. And I'm very curious. Let me know if you relate to this. Like, did you also like get really deep into your interests? Did you never feel like, you know, you even had a community online either? Like, did some of you find that like, okay, in person isn't working, let me go online? Like, honestly, like I commend people like that. Like, I really, 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 really look up to people who were able to find community online. Like that is so cool to me. And I will always like view that as like the coolest thing on like planet Earth. Like the fact that we can connect with people all over the world. Like genuinely, I was like, always like, whoa, like, what do you mean you have friends online? Like, that's crazy. So it became this kind of internalized shame, right? I was ashamed of myself for a long time. I was real ashamed of myself real bad. And there was a lot of things I did that would dim my light, right? So I'd have ideas, I'd have things I would want to do, et cetera, and I would stop them unless I thought I could be perfect at them. Hip and cool podcast. If I wanted to be someone's friend or if I had a crush on someone, I would like alter myself, you know, to like be the person they wanted, and that obviously didn't work. That obviously didn't work because none of that was built on like actual good foundation, and it was exhausting for me. And I bet like it wasn't great for the other person too, because it's like, who the fuck am I dating? Like, real shit. Like, I'm sorry, like it's real. Like at the end of the day, like sometimes I think, and I'm like, there was definitely no reason why some of the people I dated acted the way they did, but I won't lie, I was acting from a place of lack. Like there were times where I was genuinely acting a fool just so that someone would like me, and understandably so. Like dating someone like that might be difficult, but that's not an excuse. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like they could have really given me a little bit of grace. Like they could have spoke to me, but also know what the fuck is going on, Instead, like there was just some things that I just can't forgive. Like I sit back and I'm like, no matter how like maybe pick me I was acting, no matter how weird I was acting, like I genuinely don't think that you need to treat somebody like lower than garbage just because they're acting a little weird. I think that at the end of the day, you could have just put me out of my misery. Instead you did a secret third thing Terrible decision, terrible idea. And now we're both sad. Well, I'm sad. I have to deal with things. I don't know how that person feels. I honestly don't care. At the end of the day, what are we gonna do? It's the past, right? I try my best to be like, oh, it's just the past, right? Look, girl, when you like wake up and like the first thing you think of is just the most terrible thing you've ever been through. It's like, girl, why are we thinking about this right now? Why are we thinking about this? Like, don't, isn't there something better I can think about right now? This is what I'm talking about. It's just like, I don't understand why my brain torments me. Because that's another thing too, right? Like, I think about all of the things that have gone wrong. And that's going to get to chapter 2, where things got murky. So as I'm getting older, right, I'm trying to be a normal person. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to date. I'm trying to, move out of my childhood home. I'm trying to be an adult, the adult that I always thought I was going to be. And through those experiences, I had to learn the hard way. I am learning the hard way that some of those childhood wounds are wounding real deep. They're deeper than I guess I thought. And because of that, there's this like disconnect a little bit between the life I want to live and maybe the life that I am living, or the life that I'm allowing myself to live through my ego, right? I feel like there's just so much ego that is motivated in my actions. I feel like a lot of the time I'm just straight up like, no, it's not going to work. This is not what people are going to think. I have so much negative thought patterns linked to my past that are preventing me from living the future I want to live. And that ain't good. Like, that's not good. And personally speaking, it's difficult because sometimes it feels like no matter how many steps I take forward, I'm constantly taking steps back. And it's not conducive to a like stable and like aligned adult life if I'm just constantly viewing myself as this, 14-year-old who because when you think about it, right? At the time, when I was a child, I actually benefited from changing myself depending on who I was near. That was a good thing. I needed to do that to survive the circumstances I was in. My middle school was so bad. I had a terrible experience in middle school. My elementary school wasn't great either. Like, it was okay. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely needed to do that to survive my household as well. And now that I'm older and I'm creating a stable, like, calm life, I'm still in survival mode. I've noticed it. The way that I act, the way that I talk to people, the way that I operate is still in survival mode because I'm at the end of the day an old dog. I'm an old dog, and it's like I need to like, teach myself new tricks, but it's difficult. And I'm trying not to say, oh, it's difficult after things, because whatever, because it I can do hard things. I'm an adult. I can do hard things. But at the end of the day, there is this disconnect because of the way I was literally trained to believe that the world operates. People are going to treat me this way if I share this. If I do this, this is going to happen. If I do that, that's going to happen. And all that is just ego trying to keep me in that same place. And I didn't realize that until recently. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why is it that when this happens, I just stay, I fawn? Why do I not feel like I can share my authentic ideas on the internet? Why can't I share my deep feelings in my music? Why is that difficult for me? Like, the making the music is the easy part, but then sharing it and being literally so vulnerable with other people, why does that feel like, Armageddon is coming when I do that? But it's because of all of those things in the past, and like my ego literally telling me that no one gives a fuck. No one has given a fuck, and no one ever will. And that's just like the inner dialogue. It's like so many of the words of others and so much of like my belief system that I've created as a child seeps into my adulthood, and it's preventing me from making aligned choices. There's also this like disconnect for me as well, where I feel like nothing I've ever done was aligned. When when I get into that space where I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I can't share my music, I can't be authentic online, and I can't do this and I can't do that, then I start thinking, has anything I ever done felt aligned? Have I ever made a right decision in my life? No, because I'm here now, and because of this and because of that, and because this ended this way, and this person doesn't have feelings for me anymore, and this person and it's like, what the hell? Like, I'm literally living in the past, like, so bad, like living in the past in like the most chaotic way possible, because there is no type of, like, I'm telling you right now from straight up experience, there is no possible way to just go about the world thinking at base level that everything you've ever done in your entire life was the wrong decision. That is just not right. And that is some high school shit. That is Sanaa of 2018 and prior. Literally, there was a point in my life. I remember this one time I used to tell somebody, like, I regret everything I've ever said. I even regret the things I'm saying right now. Like, what? Like, this is me when I was 17. Like, genuinely, when I was 17, I was tweaking. And like, I'm realizing, like, oh, okay, I might look different. I might dress different, you know, but there are still elements of that version of me inside. #inside. Inside, tell me, is it inside? Like, real shit. Like, Steve Lacy, there's some fragments of it. I don't know if, like, you know, like broken glass, there's still some fragments left inside. And I'm like, what happened there? I thought I sweeped up everything. No. It's so interesting to me because, you know, as I sit here intellectualizing my past, I realize that even when I did, like, for example, 7 months ago now, since I moved out, oh my God, 7 months, I feel like there's been this desire to push forward, and like I felt like moving out would have been my ticket to, like, oh my God, finally I can live my life, right? Like, oh my God, life can finally start now. And then I'm realizing, like, like, I didn't realize that, like, I have a certain friend that I call to ask permission to feel things, not in so many words, but there are times where, like, I'll feel like something really, really confusing, and I'm like, this feels like it's too much. And so, like, I call my friend and I talk to her about it so that I feel like it's okay to feel this. And then I start thinking, like, have I always done this? Have I always felt like I needed to put my feelings through a filter before, like, it was okay to feel them? Even just, like, having a crush. I remember I talked about in my why I hate talking about love video. I've definitely grown since then. Like, I've definitely grown. I do like talking about love. For example, I was able to release my EP, Postcards, on SoundCloud, and it's all about love. It's literally all about love. You should go listen to it. But there also is this fear that even just as a crush, like, if I have big feelings towards someone that maybe doesn't feel the same way, that I'm harming them by just having the feelings. One thing Heidi Preem has taught me that I will never let go, I don't think I'll ever let go of this, is that emotions/feelings are just things that exist in your body. They're just sensations that exist in your body. If you're angry, you don't have to intellectualize the anger. If you feel angry, you don't have to be like, well, it doesn't feel right to be angry right now, so I'm not going to be angry. That is how you end up with a messed up nervous system, because you're just not giving yourself the permission to feel as things come up. You're at work and someone says something that really gets you angry. Yeah, maybe it's not appropriate to lash out at them, but it's completely fine to feel the anger. If someone says something to you and it makes you feel sad, maybe, like, it's not the most appropriate to start bawling, crying out in, like, I don't know, what would a situation, maybe you're on the train, I don't know, but it's okay to be sad. You know what I mean? It's like, these are concepts that are, like, so, like, it's like foreign, low key. It's like, it makes sense to me, like, outside, but it's foreign to me. Like, I would definitely, if a friend told me she was angry, I'd be like, girl, like, be angry, like, feel your feelings, da da da. I say it all the time, feel your feelings, but, like, I don't actually give myself the permission to do that. You know what I mean? If I feel big feelings about something, I'm like, oh, like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, you know, I don't feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm harming the person by having such intense, like, feelings for them. I'm so happy to be around them, but, like, I don't think they're that happy to be around me. So, like, I'm just gonna stop feeling this. Like, it's just like, it feels like I'm hurting them by just having the feeling. Just the feeling alone in my body feels like it's harming the other person, right? Even I remember in middle school, right? This is probably why I feel this way. In middle school, I was so happy to be friends with this one girl, but she did not fuck with me at all. Like, I'm telling you right, she did not like me. There were so many instances like that too. So many times where I was just so hyped. Oh my God, I finally have a friend, da 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 da. Come to find out later on, whether it's because they pretended to be my friend or they told me straight up, girl, like, you are not one of us. Go away. Whoa. No, I'm laughing now, but if I don't laugh, I'll cry. This is some real stuff. This is things that I went through. And I'm laughing now, but this is things I cried about, girl. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't even know where I found the strength to get through that. I was crying about that the other day, where I was like, how did I even manage that? There were some old text messages I was reading from an old talking stage too, and I was like, how did I survive this? How did I survive this? Like, I started crying. I was like, how did I survive that? But I think that goes into like my next point, where I'm like, I got hit with this realization that this cannot go on. This can't go on. I cannot go through life thinking that uncertainty is out to get me, and that, like, I am just this base level incorrect person. I was just like printed wrong. I need to be thrown away and reprinted or something. It's just not right. It's genuinely how I felt. Where I'm at now, I'm 24, currently living in a city that most people dream of just visiting. Like, most people dream of visiting New York City, but I live here at 24 with my best friend and a gorgeous little cat named Nova. When you're stuck in what's not working, quote unquote, you miss all of the things that are. Genuinely. In the last 6 months, I feel like I've gone through like 3 years worth of like shadow work. Like, it's been crazy. I don't think that I've gotten this deep with myself ever. And it was through sticking up for myself, through cursing out exes and being like, get the fuck out of my face. Do not speak to me ever again. Not shifting myself for the needs of others by telling people how it is, blocking people, not seeming like I'm okay with everything. I'm good with it. I'm not okay with what you said to me or how you treated me. I am, you know what? I am gonna leave. Like, no, Nicki Minaj, like, I am gonna leave. Like, I love a goodbye. I love a see you later. I love a sayonara. I love a, this was great. Have a nice day. Or this was terrible. Have a nice evening. Like, I am gonna leave. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I beat myself up for that. Even just last month, I'm talking June was crazy for me. June was literally like when it all came to a head, June 2025. That's when I realized, like, this can't go on. I can't do this anymore. I was battling myself for like control over my life. Battling my ego, basically, is what I was battling. Because it is just like my old beliefs constantly wanting center attention, and I can't do it anymore. I cannot live in the reality where I'm not enough, because this is all I have to give. This is all I have to give. I can't be anyone else besides this. Respectfully, take it or leave it. Like, it's just, I think it's just, I want to be so aggressively myself now, because it's just been years and years. It's been 24 years of just giving away my power. I'm so tired of it. I'm exhausted by it. I'm so done. Like, I'm done. Like, it's just so tiring. And angering, especially because I think about some of the people I gave my power to. I'm talking meanies, rude, mean people. And like, as much as I would like to sit here and like, well, life is a process and kumbaya, I can't kumbaya to everything. At the end of the day, sometimes some things I think about and I'm like, I should have cursed them out. I should have, but I didn't have the language yet. I didn't even know they were messing with my brain. I'm not even mad that they did what they did. I'm just mad that I didn't curse them out. I'm like, why didn't I curse them out when I had the chance? That's what I'm upset about. And I wanted to close out this video by saying I'm by no means perfect, right? I am not the perfect person. I am not healed. And like, I haven't seen God. He hasn't come down and been some like anointed, like, you know, I'm not saved or whatever, hashtag saved. But these are a few things that I've been doing that I'm talking straight up July 1st. I'm talking July 1st. And if we want to get astrologically up into it, it's ever since the Capricorn full moon in my 8th house. Ever since then, July onward. And now I'm coming at you right off of the Aquarius full moon that happened last week. That happened yesterday. The Aquarius full moon is all about owning your authenticity. And what better way to own my authenticity than get back to my roots, right? And also Mercury retrograde is right now too, right? Mercury retrograde is happening currently in my 3rd house of communication. And so it makes sense that I'm coming back to a podcast where I communicate, and retrogrades are all about reflecting and like going back to the roots of things. Here I am back doing my podcast. But as I was saying, here are some things that I've been doing and trying to do within the last like month and 2 weeks, month and a week, that have really, really, I'm talking, you want to talk about change the game? We're not even about talking about change the game. I turned off the PlayStation and turned on the Xbox, like change the game system. Like I'm talking about, I'm actually having to rewire my brain at this point in time, at this juncture. As Mia Maureen would say, at this juncture, I am rewiring my brain. I genuinely have to. I can't let my ego win again. Like she's a tough cookie. I'll tell you right now, she's a tough cookie. She really did try her best to win. She's not gonna win though. I got you right now. So I've been listening to my body when things feel weird. Go. Another big thing that I didn't talk about, when you're constantly overthinking and changing yourself for people, like this is when I constantly change myself and how I behave for people, that was just constantly overthinking. I did not have a connection with my body. And that means that I didn't realize I was in survival mode. My nervous system was shot for 20 years and I didn't know. I'm sitting here like, oh, like, so you're not supposed to have your jaw clenched, your back tense, your legs, you know. I didn't know that, girl. But also listening to when things feel good. And it's usually in those more calm states. And I was talking to actually my boss the other day and I was like, you know, growing up, I didn't even realize I was this calm person because I feel like I was in so much chaos all the time that I didn't even realize that I was calm by nature. I didn't know that. I genuinely thought I was this like chaotic bitch who was just crazy all the time and like is neurotic. I'm actually a very calm person and I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know until like I moved out and I went to college and people kept telling me, Sanaa, like you really calm me down. I was like, I just never identified with that. I was like, what do you mean I calm you down? I thought I stressed people out if anything. And then moving out of my childhood home 2 years after college, or 1.5 years after college, actually, that was my goal. I realized that, I actually thrive when things are calm. I like being calm. I'm telling you right now, I didn't know that. Affirmations and meditation is another thing. I think it's because of meditation and affirmations that I realized that A, I'm a calm person, and B, that a lot of what was going on was my ego, right? There is this app called Insight Timer that I love. I think it's a very popular like meditation app, and I go on there and I find like meditations based on like what I want to hear. I have this like one by Sarah Blondin that I listen to every single morning, and it's just like being grateful for your body, finding that connection with my body again, and just realizing like, oh my God, like getting out of my head is so much more valuable to me than overthinking about what could be, what if, like, no, just like sitting with myself in silence. And it's funny because I was talking to Maureen the other day, and they were like, yo, you cannot pause life. And I was like, yo, the way that I've realized that I can pause life is through meditation. Like those are like you can pause life through those moments when life feels like it's going crazy and you can't control it. You can pause life by meditating, by taking a second to breathe. Hi, Nova. I wish I could lift her up and show you, but she doesn't like being lifted up. You just came to say hi. She's a very talkative cat. Oh. Psst, psst. She's got lots to say. But yeah, through connecting with my body more, I realized that because I know what that calm, like base level feeling in my body feels like, I know when I'm upset now. I know when I'm happy now. And I don't have to question, because there are times where I'm like, am I even happy right now? Or do I feel confused? Like when I'm happy, I know more. I feel like I appreciate it more now too, because I'm much more connected to my body. I always love a new perspective. That's me. That's the type of bitch I am. I just love a new perspective and a new belief system. I'm always gonna like be open to hearing what someone else has to offer, and I'm like, let's try it. Why not? I remember in one of my videos previously, I said I can't meditate. I just can't. Like I get in my head too much. But listening to guided meditations is actually a lot better than just like sitting in silence. Sometimes sitting in silence is still difficult for me, so I'm working on that. Trying things even though I'm scared. Going on dates even though I am petrified of dating. I'm like actually like, girl, certified scared of it. Like, I'm sorry, like they need to put in the DSM-5 like a fear of dating like in there. Girl, it's like actually it's clinical. Fear. I'm talking like scream mask, jump scare. I can talk about love, but can I love somebody else? Well, the jury's out. We don't know. We don't know if we can do that yet. But, you know, I'm trying to see where that, like, what, I don't even know. But I'm trying. Posting on the internet, you know, being vulnerable, talking to people that I normally wouldn't talk to, being honest with people about my feelings from the jump. Things like that. Going to dance classes, like, you know, just things that feel scary. I've been doing them. Wearing what I want to wear. Being who I want to be. BARBIE. Like, yeah, exactly. Trying, even though I'm scared. Being willing to be seen trying as well. You know, posting that EP was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life. Like, even a year ago, I don't even know if I could have seen myself doing that. As I got older, like, I just became more and more jaded. So I'm surprised that I even released music. I'm so serious. Like, but I did it. I was scared as fuck, and I did most of it by myself. But I did it, and it was scary as furk, and I did it anyway. But here's the thing, more music on the way. Like, you know, we're not stopping here. And through that, you know, letting myself do things even though I'm scared, letting myself feel the full extent of my feelings, even if it feels too much, and not having to have my feelings go through a filter, or call my mom when I'm like, Mommy, is this like a normal thing to feel? Even if I'm the first one to feel it, because a human being is feeling it, it is a human emotion. Sanat, you are human. You are not this like alien sent to the world. I mean, I get it. I'm an Aquarius, but here's the thing. Like, I'm not that alien. I'm not that extraterrestrial. Like, I am still a human being at the end of the day. Girl, if a human feels it, it is classified as a human emotion. I just need to know if like, this is like, okay to feel. Can I feel this? Like, do adults from ages like 18 to 24 usually feel that? Like, whoa, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. And at the end of the day, like, if it's too much for someone, then they're just not for me. You know what I mean? Like, all my friends, like my true friends, have seen me like at my most emotional and have yet to go away. And I've seen them at their most emotional date, and I have yet to leave them. So at the end of the day, if like anyone I meet, whether it's platonic or romantic, cannot handle my emotions, cannot handle my honesty at its most authentic and raw, like the people like my tribe can, is it really worth it? Is it really worth the overthinking and the sitting up at night and journaling about it? Like, it's not. I have to think about what really works for me. It's not, you know, at the end of the day, it's about alignment. And that's what I've always said, right? If the best thing for the both of us is to leave each other alone, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm down to do that. If the happiest we'll be is away from each other, if the happiest we'll be is just never seeing each other again, like, let's do that. Why are we making life harder than it needs to be? I've always said this in my head. I'm like, you see somebody with intense emotions, you're like, okay, like, girl, like, no, I'm not gonna die without you. Girl, it's fine. Chill. We here together. We here. It'll be okay. I'll survive without you. And here's the thing, you'll survive without me. Let's just get away from each other. Let's live our lives away from each other. Let's do that, please. Reading fiction. Reading fiction is so important. I read 20th Century Boys, Volume 1 by Naoki Urasawa. So good. I read Volume 30 of The Wallflower, one of my favorite animes of all time. I was at the library and I just saw they had Volume 30. And I was like, I don't think I've ever read, like, any of this manga. And it's my favorite anime. Let me go read it. So I went to the library, so I swiped my library card, took it home, and read the whole thing. I read this manga written by a Ghanaian person. Let me find Oblivion Rouge by hopefully I said his name right. Pat Soleil Fall. Really, really entertaining, really cool concept. I don't think that it's going to continue. I think it got discontinued, but it's like a manga / comic. It's heavily influenced by manga, you can see. Sign up for library cards. They're very, 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 very important. Keep the libraries alive. Watching movies, going to the movies. Once again, that goes into like fiction. Consuming fiction is so important. I watched Superman recently. It was so good. I also just finished Kick-Ass like earlier today. It's such a bro movie. It's always like when I lean into my hobbies and doing more stuff by myself and just tapping back into my youth that I realize ain't nothing was wrong with me in the first place. And that's where we get to the closing. You think about how I went through all these hoops to hide myself, to bury who I truly was, when this entire time connecting to my true self through music, through fashion, through authentic expression is what actually make life worth living and thus bring meaning to my life, right? It kind of doesn't make sense living a life that's worth living to someone else, or that makes sense to someone else, that is like more digestible to someone else. And that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, my life was only as good as it was digestible, or as good as it was beautiful. Like, for example, for Instagram and all of these things for aesthetic purposes, like centering other people and then kind of trying to circumvent my own joy through the viewer's point of view. When in reality, like, what's good for me isn't always going to be what someone wants for me. Someone may not want me to do the things that I want to do, or someone may not be even interested in the things that I want to do, but that's not everybody. After shifting and altering and changing myself all these years, I have the most fun. I meet the most authentic people. I am genuinely more fun to be around when I am weird, when I own my uniqueness, when I am not shifting myself for other people's approval. And I didn't know that was going to be, I didn't think that would be true. I thought as if I was the funniest person in the room, if I was the coolest, if I was wearing the latest this, if I had the most trendiest this, or, you know, if I had the most knowledge about this. And it also was preventing me from, like, all this overthinking in that moment was preventing me from being present with people, right? Because I was just constantly in my head about what I'm not doing. And ultimately missing out on, like, actual co-regulation in the moment. I'm, like, missing out on, like, being, like, what if they had something to teach me? What if they know more about this thing and, like, I can learn something, a thing or two? Instead, I'm like, oh, well, I'll never measure up. So, like, I'm not even going to be curious. I'm not even going to give this friendship a chance because I don't measure up. And I've just decided that for both of us. But like I said, we not doing that no more. We gonna try. We gonna not try. We gonna do it. We are. I am. We, you and I, are embodying the self that no longer needs to shift, no longer needs to be something for someone else. We're gonna be who our younger selves needed. Take interest in ourselves. Take interest in our interests. Then it'll make us more curious. We won't have to worry about being so alert in survival mode in the present. We'll be able to make genuine connections and be honest, even if it's not what other people want to hear. It's scary as hell. I'm sitting here in fear. I'm, like, literally shaking right now. I'm scared, but it's what I have to do. It's what we owe to ourselves. It's what we owe to our younger selves as well, you know? Leave a comment if any of this resonated with you. I'm curious to see if anyone else feels this way. I know I'm not the only one who has felt the need to shrink themselves for other people's approval. Unfortunately, in the world we live in social media and all of these different things, you know, and I don't, you know, even before social media, I'm pretty sure there were times where, you know, people didn't want to seem like the outsider, the outcast. So they've assimilated in some ways and buried their interests in order to seem more like the in crowd. This is not a unique feeling, right? We've all met someone who's done this, or we've all done it ourselves. But obviously, when you get older, it can be difficult to find who you truly are under all that gunk and goo, the gunk and the goo. Well, it was really great being back. Like, I actually really thoroughly enjoyed making this episode. I made an episode before this, and it's just me crying. You want to talk about going through a transitional period? Like, girl, like, I was sobbing in that video. I was like, I just don't even know who I am. And it's like, girl, okay, like, emotions were arising, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should find my center a little bit and, like, make a video when I feel like I have a little bit more to say instead of tears to shed. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a little bit more about yourself, if maybe you've not found these words to articulate how you've been feeling, and or I hope you learned a little bit more about me and how some 24-year-old living in New York feels about their life and how it can affect you living in adulthood. Thank you so much for watching. You know, leave a ocean emoji if you made it this far. I'm very curious to see who's made it to the end through my yapping. I appreciate every single person who clicks play on my podcast and wants to see how Sana is doing on this little, you know, corner of the world. I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and choose love always. Bye.